In this section, we've got in touch with you, dear listener. We've got some of your replies to our question online when we asked, what's the biggest mistake you've made at download? Now, we've had some very, very interesting replies to this one. This is probably the most entertaining that I have found on our socials. My biggest mistake was 2016 in believing that those big grey clouds were passing over. It's windy, they'll pass over, it's not going to rain, and I don't need to take my umbrella. I'm in my men's leggings, which I had bought there, festival leggings, brightly coloured, and what a twat. Went into the festival and it was like it was raining acid. You should have seen the panic amongst everybody. And we all got absolutely sodden. That was my mistake.
I was wearing my Spider-Man morph suit and a pair of wellies. That was it. And when that rain came down, and we had to trounce back to the campsite to basically completely change. We missed. I think we missed Killswitch Engage. I think we missed half of Baby Metal's set as well. Yeah, it was just not. We all got caught out, and the panic ensued once that rain came down. Everyone went to like a stall to try and find some sort of poncho.
Yeah, it was incredible. Now we've had. Oh my God! There's some funny comments and there's some really awful comments. Have you seen?
We've got a Sky Washy saying not bringing wellies.
Oh, that's a big mistake.
Dan Browning has said he's used a crappy single skin tent, and Inexorable 73 took a pop up tent once. It was way too small. So yeah, we've obviously got stories on those.
Doesn't he say that it's too small for his fat ass?
He did. I can relate to that from last year. But one of my biggest mistakes was getting too drunk and falling asleep at 4:00 in the afternoon. 1 year after this happened in 2018, and I only just managed to cash in Visions for their set at the Bawdy Takeover. In 2019, I completely missed the whole thing. Got drunk, passed out at 4:00, and didn't wake up again till the next morning about 6:00 in the morning.
Yeah, not great. Another one about 2016 here. I think there's a collective mental scar amongst all of us who were there in 2016. James Oliver on Facebook says, wearing Converse in 2016. Oh no. That's not good. Then we've got somebody who's a druggie who says, I'm not going to name him, 10 tabs of acid and an ounce of ketamine. That's a mistake. I don't think that's...
hell.
What's the point? You might as well stay at home and do that.
Hey-ho, we're all different.
Tegan Ann Williams on Facebook says, wearing Doc Martens in 2019, getting one of them stuck in the mud and ripping the bottom off of it completely and still hobbling around with it on because I was completely off my face. Ended up with mega blisters and the muddiest feet you could imagine. I might as well have gone barefoot.
There does seem to be a theme here at the minute.
Yes.
Shit weather and shit footwear. Doc Martens aren't shit footwear. I take that back. They're proper solid footwear. So how stuck this person may have got in the mud, she must have really fucked them up or really got stuck.
2019 was pretty bad for mud, as I recall.
Brownload, we had Drownload is 2016 when we all got fucking soaking wet. Brownload is when the mud pools in the village.
The entire site was just caked. Yeah, I remember that. Going mudsliding on day one, that's a mistake.
Especially if you've not brought enough clothing or enough shower gear. Maybe if you've only brought wet wipes to do yourself a wet wipe shower in the morning, and you decided that on day one you want to go for a mudslide. That bag of wet wipes are only going to do so much. I've got one here from the a Dear Download podcast. As another download podcast, they've mentioned seeing Six over Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory set. I love Six, but I would probably regret that as well. Obviously, knowing what would happen to Linkin Park the year after, or a couple of years after, with Chester Bennington.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, missing out on a band when they've done something incredibly special. Yeah, it does make you sort of like, oh crap, I should have gone there instead of there instead.
Man, missing bands that are no longer together is something that is. I mean, oh my God, it's just the worst feeling. It's the worst feeling when you know you could have seen them and you chose not to, or you couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like the year that Motorhead were due to play in 2016 was the year that Lemmy died. So, I mean, I was quite keen to see Motorhead because I also want to see the real Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you didn't get to see them. They left that slot totally blank, didn't they?
Nikki Shan Elizabeth Cartwright. That's quite a long name. Taking a cheap £15 tent. £15 tent. Where do you get a £15 tent from? Anyway, perhaps it was secondhand. Took a £15 tent in 2016, and coming back from Rammstein to find the inside of my tent soaked through. Lucky my rucksack was waterproof and my clothes were dry. Oh no! I mean, there's a few of those actually where people have bought cheap tents and then found them floating when they came back because of all the rain.
Yeah, there's nothing you can really do about the weather. Yeah, I mean, you've got to prepare for the worst. Like, you've got to prepare for the monsoons and the heat wave that could potentially ensue.
Brett Granger says, meeting my ex. Oh, no. No.
So does that mean they found love or they found what they thought was love at Download, and then it's not worked out, so now it's a regret that they met that person at Download?
There's clearly more to this story, isn't there? We just don't know. Mel Harris has written, after waiting years to finally see Maiden live, I got so pissed on Jaeger bombs with a bunch of bikers in 2013 that I fell asleep on the hill in front of the main stage and missed the entire set. Spitfire Fly Past included. Oh, no. It's all right, they'll be on again next year. David Hill says, trusting a fart.
Never. I know of people that have been in this situation. I've never had it myself. A friend of a friend got really pissed one night and then woke up the next morning that they have shit themselves during the night, being so drunk
during the night,
and then having to call the friend and say, I need you to come and help me. Like, it's really bad. Like, fucking hell, how bad.
Oh my God. One or two more. Simon James Scrivens says, watching Tool. Now, some people love Tool, but
yeah, I mean,
I'm not one of them.
Yeah, do you know what? I think they're a bit like Marmite, aren't they? Like, you either love them or you hate them. Like, I know Dave Kingdon, another honourable mention, my friend. He loves them and was down like front centre stage to be able to see them. I think their shows are a strange one because they don't allow anyone to sort of. There's no screens with any sort of footage, so if you're up on the hill, you can't see what's going on, but you can hear it. And their songs are quite long and quite progressive. So,
yeah, I did wander over. I wandered over to the stage because I was curious. I hadn't actually heard any Tool because for whatever reason I couldn't get access to it. Wandered over, and as I got closer, I thought, have they started? Is this it? It was just this sort of long, droning, boring, droning sound, and I thought, I gave it some credit, and I thought, do you know what? Maybe this is just a long intro, or it's between songs, or something like that. Stayed for I don't know how long, maybe another 5 or 10 minutes, and it just didn't improve at all. And I'm really sorry to all the Tool fans. I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
Did you remember, again, speaking of like long drawn out sort of either introductions or midway segments with it, do you remember we stopped into the Tennessee Patushka, a black metal band from Poland, and the first 15 minutes of their set was literally them lighting fucking candles.
I do remember that. That's really funny.
And we walked off because again they were supposed to have started like I must have been like 1:30 something, and by 1:45 it was like all they've done is lit fucking candles.
I'd totally forgotten that until you mentioned it. That is so funny. Yeah, so many candles.
I was excited to see them because I do like my black metal, and listening to them on Spotify and that, I was really excited to see them. But when I got to 15 minutes in, again, of them just doing what they were doing, I just thought, you know what, I can't be fucking bothered.
Yeah. It's do you know what? The same thing happened to me last night at this other gig. It wasn't actually the headliner. It was another act who I won't mention actually, but I think you need to read your audience, or plan for a party. I think that when you go to a festival like that, or a concert or anything, if have people turned up to sort of stand around wondering what the fuck is going on, or have they turned up to dance and go mad a bit and sing and enjoy themselves? I don't want to stand about thinking, what's this? Do you know what I mean?
No,
That's just what I've come to let go. I've not come to be confused.
That just tickled me, that did. You've not come there to be confused.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a simple guy. Just play some fucking music for me, will you? Anyway. So we've had some there's honestly so many comments that we haven't got time to read out, but if you want to have a look for yourself or even add your own, look for our post on social media. Just look for FestPod, the unofficial Download Festival guide podcast, and have a look through. There are some amazingly funny examples of mistakes that people have made at Download, and it all sounds like good fun when you're reading about it now, but at the time it's pretty devastating. Especially if you shit yourself. Anyway, during the night when you have no control. Oh my god!
That's why you there's getting pissed and passing out, but what happened for this person's bowels just to let go and evacuate during the night.
So on that Brownload note, that is it for this episode. We will be back soon, I promise. And until then, we'll see you on our socials. Just look for FestPod or go to festpod.co.uk. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, why don't you give us a little 5-star review and just tell everybody else how much you've enjoyed it, just because then other people get to discover us and enjoy it for themselves too. So, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Bye. A Wilco Productions podcast.
Dangling in the wind.